are standing in the middle of a time when great injustice is not touched. Architects of the financial meltdown have dinner with the president regularly. In the middle of that time, the idea that this was what the government had to prosecute.
Armed agents of the law.
One could ask.
All over the world, there were starting to be hackathons, gatherings. Aaron Swartz has, in some sense, brought the best out of us in trying to say, how do we fix this?
He was, in my humble opinion, one of the true extraordinary revolutionaries that this country has produced.
I don't know whether Aaron was defeated or victorious, but we are certainly shaped by the hand of the things that he wrestled with.
When we turn armed agents of the law on citizens trying to increase access to knowledge, we've broken the rule of law, we've desecrated the temple of justice. Aaron Swartz was not a criminal. Change does not roll in on the wheels of inevitability, it comes through continuous struggle.
Aaron really could do magic. And I'm dedicated to making sure that his magic doesn't end with his death.
He believed that he could change the world, and he was right. Out of the last week and out of today, phoenixes are already rising.
Since Swartz's death, Representative Zoe Lofgren and Senator Ron Wyden have introduced legislation that would reform the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act, the outdated law that formed the majority of the charges against Swartz. It's called Aaron's Law.
Aaron believed that, you literally ought to be asking yourself all of the time, what is the most important thing I could be working on in the world right now? And if you're not working on that, why aren't you?
This is what democracy looks like. We are people. Internet freedom is under attack. What do we do? Stand up like that. Internet freedom is under attack. What do we do? Hey, hey, go home. Our Northeast has got to go. Hey, hey.
I wish we could change the past, but we cannot. But we can change the future, and we must. We must do so for Aaron. We must do so for ourselves. We must do so to make our world a better place, a more humane place, a place where justice works and access to knowledge becomes a human right.
So there was a kid back in February from Baltimore, 14 years old, who had access to JSTOR. And he'd been spelunking through JSTOR after reading something. And he figured out a way to do early tests for pancreatic cancer. And pancreatic cancer kills the shit out of you because we detect it way too late. By the time we detect it, it's already too late to do anything about it. He sent emails off to the entire oncology department at Johns Hopkins, hundreds of them. And every 14-year-old kid, yeah. And most of them ignored it, right? But one of them sent him an email back and said, this is not an entirely stupid idea. Why don't you come on over? And this kid worked evenings and weekends with this researcher. And in February, I heard him on the news, just a couple of weeks after Aaron died, when Aaron was in the news a lot. Sorry. And he said the reason he was on the news is because they'd done it. They were shipping an early test for pancreatic cancer that was going to save lives. And he said, this is why what Aaron did was so important. Because you never know, right? This truth of the universe is not only something that policymakers use to figure out, what the speed limit should be. It's where the thing that's going to keep, your kid from dying of pancreatic cancer comes from. And without access, the person who might come up with the thing that's got your number on it may never find that answer.
He slept so well, he didn't fall out of bed once, not even when he dreamed he was back on the spacecraft.
Very good, Aaron. Very good. Yay, Aaron.
Okay. Now it's song time. Aaron.